Time left me in a London that smelled of ancient smoke. My paws touched wet stone near the Thames. The city was cramped. Wood, pitch, haste. The plague from the year before still haunted faces. Everything seemed alive and fragile. Streets were too narrow for the sky. Tall houses almost kissing. Straw, coal, barrels, rope. Too many people in too little space. London was stacked fuel. Here, a small error doesn't become a scare. It becomes fate. In the silence of dawn, every sound had weight. Footsteps, dogs, a distant cart. My ears caught the crack of dried wood. The air was dry. The wind awake. When the wind is awake, fire listens first. I've seen wars and temples. But something changes when an entire city becomes a weapon against itself. The enemy had no face. It had roofs. It had cellars full of kindling. London lived as if it could never burn. And that always charges a price. The human heart grows used to the almost dangerous, almost safe. Tragedies enter like routine. I sensed time was coming to collect every careless moment. And when it collects, it takes fast. When the first light appeared, it wasn't the sun. It was a strange glow, already threatening the air. That night would be remembered not by those who slept, but by those who fled. And I felt the city wake too late. The origin was small, a bakery on Pudding Lane, a domestic fire that escaped. The city slept, but the wood didn't. When I saw the first flames, I didn't see spectacle. I saw inevitability. The wind did the rest. From roof to roof, as if London had been drawn to transmit fire. Embers crossed the air like luminous insects. Fast, hungry. Any eve became a path. There were ways to contain it. Tear down houses, open clearings. But that demands quick decision and political courage. While some debated, fire debated only continuity. The Lord Mayor, exhausted, shouted, "We can't manage," and stepped back, defeated. I saw bucket lines, water too small. I saw hooks pulling boards, tiles on the ground. But effort without plan doesn't save cities. That night needed a plan, and the courage to cut deep before it was too late. When fire entered the dense streets, it stopped being a fire and became a phenomenon. Heat changed the air. Air changed people. Screams couldn't be heard. Animals ran aimlessly. Fear spread at the rhythm of flames. I felt something rare, being small. Not before a king, but before a force without intention. Fire didn't want to punish, it only wanted to exist. And London had given it material, wind, and hesitation. The fire found warehouses near the Thames. Oil, alcohol, stacked wood. When fire finds stock, it becomes a factory. Flames began producing more flames. The city began producing ruin. Boats filled with families and possessions. Furniture, mattresses, portraits. The river became a road. In the mirror of water, London blazed orange, a wounded animal. And escape seemed endless. Samuel Pepys recorded what he saw. "A malevolent flame, horrible and bloody," he wrote. I almost heard the pen scratch paper, trying to contain chaos in a diary. There's something desperate about fitting such enormity on a page. But that's how humans hold their minds. The King, Charles II, didn't stay in his palace. He went to the fire, saw the scale, and understood. Hesitation cost lives. He ordered demolitions, sent soldiers, pressed fronts. Clothes wet from river, face blackened. He chose to act. Some used gunpowder to open ruptures, exploding structures before fire devoured them, destroying your own city to save it. In fires like these, saving means choosing what you lose now to not lose everything later. When a city is made of wood, fire doesn't move, it multiplies. I saw streets become corridors of heat. Roofs fell in sequence, and I understood. Fire speaks, with crack, fall, and silence. St. Paul's Cathedral was pride and stone, but surrounded by what burned. Books and paper circulated nearby, and paper is an invitation. When flames approached, there was special panic. Even the sacred became fragile. Fire doesn't respect symbols. Flames entered, climbed, took beams. The cathedral became a torch. Those watching saw not just a building burning, but an era saying goodbye. And goodbyes like this have no ceremony. The roof's lead melted and ran like a bright river. A heavy glow, sickly, as if the city were melting its own memory. For an instant, it was beautiful. Then it was just guilt. I walked through alleys where heat pushed my body back. The air burned my eyes. Ash settled on my fur, like wrong snow. A deep crack, a structure giving. Not just wood. It was certainty. People ran with silver, relics, anything that could become future. I saw burned hands holding useless things. I saw empty hands holding children. Priorities reveal themselves at the limit, when ground seems to reject you. When night fell, London didn't darken, it blazed, a glow that betrayed everything. Fire is a kind of author. It rewrites maps and erases streets like someone cutting sentences. Open fields became makeshift shelter, sheets as tents, faces of ash. A crowd looking back, trying to recognize its own street. Humiliation burned slowly. Hunger, faster. When society enters panic, it seeks culprits. Foreigners became easy targets in rumors. Fire didn't need conspiracy, but fear does. Simple explanations are poison. They give direction to rage. I saw guards trying to keep order while order melted. Families debating where to sleep, what to save. Great tragedies become noise, exhaustion, hunger, shame, anger. And noise also destroys. Still, I saw solidarity. A loaf shared, a blanket offered, a place in a boat. When the world crumbles, some become beasts. Others become bridges. And that decides how a city returns. Bells rang like goodbye. Children watched the fire like forbidden spectacle. Horror hypnotizes. Time knows this. It makes people look, and later makes them remember. London wasn't just on fire. It was in forced transformation. The question was simple. After, what's left but ash? And remaining isn't winning. It's just continuing. From the 2nd through the 6th of September, 1666. 4 days when wind seemed complicit. When it weakened, there was no victory. There was exhaustion. Fire wasn't defeated. It ran out of path. Streets disappeared. Neighborhoods in ash. Walls like broken teeth. 13,200 houses destroyed. 86 churches, 1 in every 3 buildings vanished. They say few deaths were recorded, but chaos doesn't record well. Tens of thousands left homeless. Fire didn't burn just wood, it burned routine. And routine is what makes a city believe in tomorrow. Without routine, even hope needs rebuilding. Still, there was fear of return. Small fires reigniting in rubble, an ember hidden in fallen beam. Big fires leave paranoia, and paranoia is memory. Even wind after seems suspect. I walked through ruins. Sound changes when there are no walls. Wind circulates differently. London was naked. And when a city goes naked, it must decide what clothes to wear. Fire had cleaned space, cruelly, without asking permission. Clean space is temptation. Rebuilding isn't returning to what was, it's choosing. And choosing reveals who the city is when it's broken. Reconstruction wasn't simple. Disputes over land, over rights. To avoid endless conflict, they created decision mechanisms. Because after fire, the next threat is war between survivors. New rules came. More brick, more stone, less wood. Wider streets, standards, prohibitions. Never again became political argument. But never again costs dear, and not everyone wants to pay. Sir Christopher Wren dreamed of a wide London, almost geometric. Not everything was possible. Property and haste pulled reality back. Still, the idea remained. Rebuilding means correcting the error of living as if there were no consequence. The new St. Paul's Cathedral would be born from that decision. Decades of work. A remade symbol doesn't erase trauma, but gives shape to new beginning. London chose promise, and promise in stone demands memory. Disaster became institutional lesson. Improvements in prevention, organization, response. Thinking risk before risk becomes news, sounds cold. But it's care. It's the adult version of hope. I saw bricks rising where ash had been. I felt continuity. Not the continuity of as it always was, but the courage of let's try better. Rebuilding means admitting failure, and still betting on the city. There's a lie about fires, that they purify. Fire doesn't purify. It collects. It reveals what was fragile, accumulated. Shows the price of carelessness with brutal clarity. And then asks, why did we wait so long? But there's truth. After total destruction, change becomes possible. The unthinkable becomes necessary. Fire opens paths like someone tearing a door. Not beautiful rebirth. Forced rebirth. I saw people crying for houses and soon after talking about rebuilding. Grief and planning coexist. That's how humans survive. Suffering and projecting. There's beauty in it. Bitter, but real. The danger of loving routine too much is forgetting cities are systems, not guarantees. Too much wood, too narrow streets, too full warehouses. Too much is invisible, until it becomes fire. And still, time has irony. The fire destroyed and offered new beginning. Not as gift, as consequence. The city loses its skin and invents another. What changes isn't the fire. It's what the living learn. Tragedies don't bring meaning by themselves. Meaning comes later, through choices. Fire opens space. Those who decide what's born there are the living, and that responsibility burns brighter than any flame. If you want to keep traveling with me through moments when the world burned and somehow found a way to rebuild, leave a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Time guards old stories that keep repeating their signals. I'll be there to watch them with you. Until the next jump.